Another day and another vehicle to take out on a road trip. And no, it's not the camper. It is in fact this, the journey. That's right, join me as I take a journey on a journey in part of northern Los Santos, finding out how well this classic motorhome handles through the tough terrain of Raton Canyon and Mount Chiliad. So let's take a look at some of the features this motorhome has. 6 seats, a single bed, a cooker and a sink. What more could you need? You could probably get one for around $15,000, or you could just get one for free by stealing it somewhere in Blaine County. To be honest, there are loads up there and they were probably already stolen anyway. Like most motorhomes, it does have poor acceleration and poor speed, and poor braking, and poor handling, which is something I discover more about during my road trip. I set off just outside from Sandy Shores and headed to Raton Canyon, which is a great place for kayaking, fishing and general sightseeing. As I reached my first destination, you can see instantly why this is a great place to visit. However, I immediately have a heart-stopping moment as I discover that this journey's brakes aren't as good as they used to be. You can see the terrified look on my face as I speed uncontrollably down the hill, collide straight into a deer. Thankfully though, the deer was absolutely fine. Oh dear. After my terrifying ordeal, I thought it would be best to pull over and take in the scenery in Raton Canyon. After standing around for about 10 seconds and taking in the sheer beauty, I thought it'd be best to get some food before night fell. I left Raton Canyon and headed onto the highway to work my way up to Mount Chiliad, hoping along the way to find a place to get some food. Eventually I came across a fruit stand at the side of the road, so I pulled over to see if they had any chocolate. There was no one around at the fruit stand, so I took this opportunity to get as much food as I wanted. They had no chocolate, so I left immediately. Not far up the road, I reached the base of Mount Chiliad. Mount Chiliad was definitely going to give the journey a good challenge. But first I had to find my way to the correct route up the mountain. But then I noticed some food at the side of the road. Unfortunately they were too fast for the journey and managed just to get off the side of the track. It was then I realised the actual route to the top of the mountain was just on the other side of a small ditch. I then found out it wasn't a small ditch. Since it was late, I thought it'd be best for me to go to sleep. The next morning I woke up to find that I hadn't slept, so I started to make my way up the mountain. Conquering its first feat of getting out of the ditch, I was quite confident in the journey making it up Mount Chiliad. However, my confidence in the journey was short-lived, as it ended up finding a slight hill a bit of a struggle. Nonetheless, I tried my best to get up this small little hurdle. With my motorhome randomly deciding to turn itself around, I decided to slam it into reverse, just to see what would happen. Strangely, it worked. So I wondered if I could actually climb up the whole mountain in reverse. It was going up quite successfully and my confidence had been restored. But once again it was short-lived. Come on, come on, come on, come on, you son of a... It wasn't having any of it, so I decided to turn the motorhome around and have a bit of a run up to try and get around this steep corner. The journey's top speed is supposedly 100 miles per hour, but I wasn't even reaching 50. Albeit, I was going up a hill. It was doing quite well, up until the point it went backwards. It was now sunset, and clearly I was getting nowhere, so I decided to go to sleep. Of course, I wouldn't be sleeping in the motorhome. It would be at an odd angle, and I didn't want to drive down the mountain, because then I would have to try and drive it back up the mountain again. So I went to a nearby motel. After a 3-hour walk from my motel back to my motorhome, I decided against going up this side of the mountain, and instead I tried to find an alternate route up, and to have to do that, I had to go back down the mountain. One thing I had learnt about the journey was the fact that it was better in reverse than it was going forward, as once again the brakes let me down. One thing I had learned was that the journey was not good for a journey, and that a different kind of car was better to go up the mountain. A cable car, in fact. I had finally reached the peak of Mount Chiliad, and as I took in the sights, I thought back about how bad the journey actually was, and came to the final conclusion that no one would ever be able to get it to the top of the mountain. What are you doing, you? What are you doing to around here?